50th day of the nationwide lockdown yesterday, there was a massive surge in the number of coronavirus cases in the country. Yesterday's scenario has compelled the government to revise and tighten its modality of the ongoing lockdown, which for the past few days was relaxed in majority of the districts across the country. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the top stories of the hour. 83 new cases of COVID-19 emerged in the country, taking the national infection tally to 217. 57 new cases detected in Parsa alone. The government all poised to tighten the nationwide lockdown after a sudden spike in COVID-19 cases in the country. Strict lockdown from tomorrow. Lawmakers urge the government to take stronger initiatives to settle the ongoing border dispute. Premier Oli says the government will retrieve every inch of the Nepalese territory encroached by India. And India announces a 20 trillion rupee economic package to help the country cope with its prolonged coronavirus lockdown. "83 new cases of COVID-19 emerged in the country yesterday, taking the national infection tally to 217. This is the highest number of cases recorded in a single day in Nepal. The infected are all male, comprising 57 cases from Parsa, 9 from Rupandehi, 8 from Kapilvastu, 1 from Bara, Sarlahi and Kathmandu each, and 2 from Mahottari, Bhaktapur and Dhanusha districts each. The test was confirmed in the capital's Teku-based National Public Health Laboratory. On Monday, 16 individuals in Kapilvastu, 6 in Rupandehi and 1 each case in Bardia and Saptari had tested positive for coronavirus. With this, the number of cases in Parsa has reached 82, 29 in Kapilvastu and 16 in Rupandehi, with the total nationwide tally to 217.
गरिएका परीक्षणहरूको संख्या 59,627 पुगेको छ। हामीलाई प्राप्त जानकारी अनुसार उपचारमा रहेका सबैको स्वास्थ्य स्थिति सामान्य नै रहेको छ।
Few journalists in Birganj are also among the infected individuals from Parsa district. Altogether, 763 swab samples were collected after 17 individuals of a same family tested positive in Chapkaiya, Birganj on 6th of May. 17 individuals who tested positive yesterday in Kapilvastu and Rupandehi had returned from Mumbai, India during the lockdown. Locals forced them to remain in quarantine once they reached their home. Likewise, the swab sample of a 14-year-old boy from Bishrampur rural municipality in Bara and who came in contact with the people in Chapkaiya tested positive yesterday. According to the Health Ministry, the government of China and Switzerland handed over some 70,000 medical kits in total, which has helped in expanding the testing parameters. And moving on, the government is all poised to tighten nationwide lockdown after a sudden spike in the COVID-19 cases in the country. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has expressed his dissatisfaction over weak implementation of the ongoing nationwide lockdown with the increasing movement of vehicles in cities across the country. An informal meeting of the high-level committee formed to contain COVID-19 outbreak was held yesterday evening following the Prime Minister's directive. The Ministry of Home Affairs has responded by deciding to scrap all temporary passes issued by district administration offices, which had allowed people free passes from one district to the other during the lockdown. Spokesperson at the Home Ministry, Kedarnath Sharma, informed that the decision was taken to tighten the movement restrictions as the number of COVID-19 cases surged in the country. The decision to tighten lockdown measures will come into effect Thursday onwards. The ministry has directed all 77 district administration offices to restrict the movement except for emergency cases. Meanwhile, the Parliament Secretariat has issued a notice to lawmakers of both the houses urging them not to leave Kathmandu Valley. A number of passes were issued for inter-district movement since the lockdown was imposed on 24th of March. The government had also allowed industries to operate, which had further fueled the movement in the cities. Lawmakers have urged the government to take stronger initiatives to settle the ongoing border dispute with India. The dispute had recently intensified following Indian government's unilateral decision to construct and inaugurate a roadway through Lipu Lake in Nepalese territory. Meanwhile, speaking at the 0 hour of the House of Representatives, lawmakers from various parties also demanded the government to rescue the Nepalese nationals who have been stranded in different countries amid COVID-19 pandemic. During the House proceedings, lawmakers from the main opposition demanded the government to clarify on the absence of the Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, at the House session. Lawmakers urged the government to hold a dialogue with India to restore Nepal's encroached land. The House has been called to discuss the priorities of the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And moving on, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has said that the government will retrieve the Nepalese territory encroached by India in Lipu Lake. During the cabinet meeting held in Baluatar yesterday, Prime Minister Oli viewed that documents and evidence, including the 1816 Sugauli Treaty, confirm that Lipu Lake, where India constructed the roadway to link with Mansarovar in China, belonged to Nepal. A minister quoted Prime Minister Oli, in fact, as saying that Nepal would not let any country to encroach its territory, and added that the Prime Minister has reaffirmed to intensify efforts to settle border dispute between two countries through prime ministerial level and diplomatic initiatives. Likewise, Prime Minister Oli reportedly maintained that dispute should be resolved through meetings and dialogues instead of protesting aggressively. Prime Minister Oli has instructed his ministers to refrain from making comments on the ongoing border dispute without evidence. Earlier, Minister for Land Management Padma Aryal had landed in controversy due to her remarks on the border dispute. The government has decided to present its policies and programs at the House session this Friday at 4 p.m. And with that, we'll take a short break here. For more news, do stay with us. Nepalese share market resumed its transaction yesterday after 49 days due to the ongoing lockdown in the country. However, a circuit break had to be implemented after the market went down by more than 2% within an hour and 20 minutes of the opening of the transaction. The benchmark NEPSE index plummeted by 25.30 points to settle at 1,226.15 points yesterday. The market witnessed a steep fall with mounting pressure from sellers as none of the trading companies registered a profit. According to the Nepal Stock Exchange, the share value of Himalayan Bank, Nabil Bank and Citizen Investment Trust saw maximum fall. A total of 106,312 shares of 87 companies were traded for 104.3 million rupees. Life Insurance Group with 157 points and Non-Life Insurance Group with 72 points recorded negative transactions yesterday. Now, before we go for a short break, let's listen to a melodious sarangi tune on a traditional Nepalese instrument played by musician and singer Barta Gandharva at this time of nationwide lockdown.
नमस्कार सम्पूर्ण दर्शकबिनहरुमा मेरो नाम बर्ता गन्धर्व हजुरहरुले धेरै नै मेरो गीत संगीतहरु हेरिसक्नु भएको छ धेरैले चिन्नु पनि हुन्छ यो लकडाउनमा चाहिँ मेरो घरमै बसेर दिनहरु बिताइरहेछ
Welcome back. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Do And the question is, what's your take on nurses in the country not being provided minimum basic salaries? Your options are A, exploitation, B, impact of economy, and C, lackluster monitoring. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us.